students. In this video, we shall discuss further concepts related to structure of atom. What we have studied in the previous video, we have studied related to the different natures, that is in electromagnetic radiation we have studied what are electromagnetic waves, what are their nature, and some important terms related to that. Hope you are going through all the videos and noting down all the concepts. If suppose you have any doubts regarding any concept, you have the contact number, you can just drop a message and I'll reply you back. Now let's see further. We have studied about frequency, wavelength. Now we will study one more term, wave number. Wave number is denoted as nu bar. Nu bar is a denotion of wave number. And let me tell you, this wave number is reciprocal of wavelength. What does lambda denote? Lambda denotes wavelength. So what does it mean? Wave number is reciprocal of wavelength. What is this? Wavelength. So how do you define wave number? Wave number means number of wavelengths per unit length. Now you have studied about electromagnetic radiations, isn't it? The waves, that electric and magnetic fields are perpendicular to one another during the propagation of a charged particle. In this, the number of wavelengths per unit length, in say 1 meter of length, how many wavelengths you can observe, that is called as wave number. Definition of wave number is number of wavelengths per unit length, and the unit of wave number is per meter, that is meter inverse is a unit of which one? Wave number. Why? The unit of wavelength is meter, so 1 by meter, that means meter inverse it becomes. This was one more term. Now we were studying related to electromagnetic waves. We studied the wave nature or the properties of electromagnetic waves. Now we shall see there were some phenomenon which could be explained easily by considering that the electromagnetic radiation shows wave behavior. Wave behavior means, you know, in a continuous manner the particles propagate, the charged particles, say it propagates. But there are some other phenomena. There were some phenomena in those days which could not be explained by considering the electromagnetic radiation being a wave. Wave in the sense, imagine it's like a continuous flow of the particles, like that. Particle nature means in discontinuous manner. I will tell you what it is. So the phenomenon like diffraction, interference, these again in detail you will be studying about in physics, so I'll not go in detail with it. All these phenomenon could be explained by considering wave nature. Which explained it? The wave nature of electromagnetic radiation could explain this phenomenon of diffraction or interference. But there are some other phenomenon which cannot be explained by considering wave nature. That is why, or that is a point where the particle nature of electromagnetic radiation came into picture. When they knew that there are phenomena which could not be explained by considering wave nature, they thought, okay, then we have to consider the particle nature. Now, which are the phenomena that can be explained by particle nature is? One is black body radiation, photoelectric effect, variation of heat capacity of solids, heat capacity of solids with respect to temperature, or the variation of heat capacity with temperature could not be explained considering wave nature. And the other important one is line spectra of atoms, line spectra of atoms. So are you getting the point of what I mean to say? I'm telling that electromagnetic radiation are said to behave both as wave as well as particle. Okay, wave means in a continuous manner, whereas particle nature means discontinuous manner. They do not propagate continuously, but in discontinuous manner. In packets they what transfer. Hmm? And that is why these are the phenomenon, or the process, and than calling it as a process, you call it as phenomenon. The phenomenon which can be explained by considering particle nature, which are the black body radiation, photoelectric effect, variation of heat capacity with respect to temperature, and line spectrum of atoms. Now we will study about black body radiation. Black body radiation, the definitions are important. There are some ideal bodies which can absorb and emit the radiation of all the frequencies. So say in general, there is a particular example for black body. Say a sphere, double-sided sphere, which is completely coated black. Inside also it is coated black, even outside also it is coated black, with a small hole. What happens, it can absorb the radiation of all the frequencies, and inside it undergoes multiple reflection, refraction, and then again it can emit all the radiation that it has been absorbed. Getting the point? So the ideal body which can absorb and emit all the frequencies of radiation is called as black body. What is it? An ideal body that absorbs and emits radiations of all frequencies is called black body. And now I have told you, a black body means which can absorb and emit the radiation of all the frequencies. What is black body radiation? The radiation emitted by the black body. Now what a black body does, it absorbs all the radiation, isn't it? After multiple reflection within it, it emits everything out again. So the radiation emitted by a black body is called as black body radiation. The radiation emitted by the black body is called as black body radiation. I'm writing each and every point so that it won't be difficult for you to write down the notes. A few were asking that how to write the class notes. Whatever points I discuss, most of the times I mention the definition, which you can again deliver it in your examination also. So based on that, as and when I explain any concept, just make a class note. Okay, that itself, if you learn, it's more than enough, and you can refer the textbook if you have it. Okay, now this is about black body radiation. In black body radiation, it was again explained that when you plot a graph of intensity versus lambda in nanometer, you see that at different temperatures, you can see the graphs this way. At different temperatures, the graph can be seen this way. Say this is at a temperature T1, this is at a temperature T2. Second temperature will be greater than the first temperature that you have taken. Say for example, if this is at 300 degrees Celsius, or say 500 Kelvin, this is at 600 Kelvin. So what does it mean? As intensity increases, here the wavelength at a particular temperature, as the intensity decreases, here you can see the curve being decreasing with decrease in the wavelength. Okay, so we'll just write a point for it. Intensity of radiation emitted, just make a point. Okay, I'll just erase this and then we'll write the point. This graph is not very important in your examination point of view, however, so you need not bother about it. Just mentioning the point in the NCERT so that you will not get confused when you go through it. Intensity of radiation emitted increases with decrease in wavelength. Okay, here if you remember the graph, intensity of the radiation emitted increases with decrease in lambda. Lambda means wavelength, decrease in wavelength. It reaches a particular maximum value and further again decreases. First it increases and reaches maximum and starts decreasing with decrease in wavelength. Hope you have got the point. Just remember that the intensity of the radiation emitted, this is related to the black body, the statement that is given. The intensity of intensity means, say in simpler words, brightness. Okay, intensity of the radiation emitted increases with decrease in wavelength. When there is decrease in wavelength, intensity increases. It reaches a maximum value, say a curve, it reaches a maximum value and then further it decreases with decrease in wavelength. It's just a statement which you need to remember. Now, Max Planck was the scientist who said that atoms and molecules could emit. He said atoms or molecules can emit radiation not in a continuous manner but in discontinuous manner. He said discrete energy packets. Discrete means small. As I had told you, no, continuous means continuously the particles must flow. Wave nature means, particle nature means in small packets it flows, not in a continuous manner the flow takes place. So what you will be writing, Max Planck suggested that atoms or molecules can emit or say absorb energy in discrete manner. Discrete means small quantity. Discrete manner, but not in continuous manner. But not in continuous manner. And he called this one as quantum. And he called it as quantum. Quantum is plural. Singular of this is quanta. Quanta means singular. Quantum means plural term. What did he say? Atoms or molecules emit, or when it absorbs or when it emits also, they do not absorb in continuous manner. They do not absorb in continuous manner. Instead, they absorb or emit in discontinuous manner. And he called this as, these together, it is called as quantum. If it is only a single one, you call it as quanta. Hope it is clear now. So this is about the particle nature that Max Planck suggested. How do you define quantum? How do you define quantum? Quantum is defined as the smallest quantity of energy that can be emitted or absorbed in the form of electromagnetic radiation. Write it completely, okay? Electromagnetic radiation. How do you define quantum? Quantum is nothing but discontinuous packets of energy. He defined quantum as the smallest quantity of energy absorbed or emitted in the form of electromagnetic radiation. It's called as quantum. Now the energy of quantum, this energy of a particular quantum, E, energy of quantum, just make a statement of it, okay? Energy of quantum E is directly proportional to frequency of the radiation. Frequency of radiation. Energy E of quantum is proportional to the frequency of the radiation. And how do you write the expression here? E is directly proportional to nu. Nu means frequency, isn't it? Otherwise, to take an is equal to equal symbol, this to remove the proportionality symbol, we take a constant here, proportionality constant, H. We write E is equal to H nu. What is H here? H is called as, H is a proportionality constant which is called as Planck's constant. Planck's constant. And its value is equal to 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second. Clear now? So after writing the definition of quantum, what you will write? The energy of quantum E is directly proportional to frequency. It is given as E proportional to frequency, or E is equal to H into nu, where H is Planck's constant and the value of Planck's constant H is equal to 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second. Remember this value. So what did we write? E is equal to H nu. This is what the relationship we got, isn't it, for energy of quantum. But we also know C is equal to nu lambda. This was a relationship we had studied about it in the beginning. You remember when we studied the definitions for frequency and wavelength, we said speed of light is related to frequency and wavelength using this expression. How can I write it for nu? Therefore, nu becomes C by, here if you take it to the other hand side, it becomes C by lambda. I can substitute it here. So, we can also write E is equal to, that is energy of quantum, energy of quantum, E is equal to hc by lambda. Make a note of these expressions, okay? Next phenomenon, photoelectric effect. So who explained about black body radiation? It was Max Planck who explained about black body radiation. Before moving on to photoelectric effect, let me tell you how Max Planck had a picture of this black body radiation. Max Planck actually explained black body radiation in 1900. In 1900, he explained black body radiation. What he did, he took a piece of iron and started heating it. Iron rod, he started heating. What happens when you heat the iron rod? What usually happens? Okay, you say that it becomes red hot, is it? So first, when he observed that it became a dull red color, and then further on heating, it became red colored. Continuously when he started heating it, it turned white, and then he saw that it even turned blue color on continuously heating. So what he said, he said in the visible region, I've told you, different radiations like radio waves, microwaves, visible, infrared, UV rays, X-rays and all that. Like that, in the visible region, we see band of colors, Vibgayar, we say. Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Vibgayar, we say, isn't it? So he said that from dull red, where it is moving towards blue. First it was this color, then it started moving towards blue color. So from which region it has moved? It has moved from lower frequency to higher frequency. So here the frequency will be higher frequency. Here the frequency will be lower frequency. So he noted that from lower frequency to higher frequency, the range has been varying. So with this, he said he wanted to study about black body radiation. This made him interest about black body radiation, and that is why he studied it. Okay, that is aside now. Now we will see what is photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect was explained by a scientist by name Heinrich Hertz in 1887. A scientist called as Heinrich Hertz, he explained photoelectric effect. You know what he said? When some metal was taken, let me just roughly give you a setup of this particular experiment. Here a detector was taken, which was externally connected, and here a metal plate. What is this? Metal. This is detector. This is voltage applied. So what he observed is, when a beam of light strikes the metal, when a beam of light, a light beam, a ray of light, strong beam of light hits the metal surface, he observed that there were some particles being emitted. Electrons were emitted. What is it? When a beam of light strikes the metal surface, electrons were emitted. So using detector, he could make out that electrons are being emitted. Detector means which detects the presence of electrons or the emission of electrons here. That's all. This is a rough experimental setup I'm telling you. So what is photoelectric effect? When a strong beam of light strikes the metal surface, then electrons are ejected. This phenomenon is called as photoelectric effect. See the name photo. Photo means light. Electric means related to electrons. Photo, light beam is striking a metal, then electrons are emitted, and this effect is called as photoelectric effect. Like, let's write the definition for photoelectric effect. When a beam of light strikes the metal surface. Example for the metals, most of the time the metals that were considered were potassium, rubidium, cesium, these. Usually of alkali metals, the first group elements were considered. Strikes the metal surface, electrons are ejected from it. It means the metal surface. This phenomenon is called as photoelectric effect. Hope now it is clear. When a beam of light strikes the metal, electrons are ejected from the metal, and that phenomenon is called as photoelectric effect. There were some observations done related to photoelectric effect. What was observed, now the observations that were made, as soon as the light strike the metal surface. Now if there is a metal surface, as soon as the beam of light strikes the metal surface, ejection of electron was seen, and it was so quick that there is no time gap between the striking of metal and ejection of electron. It's not that beam of light strikes and after some time the electrons gets ejected. No, as soon as the light strikes, the electrons were getting ejected. So what is the first point they observe? There is no time gap between striking of beam of light and ejection of electrons. That was one thing. And then the experiments, see, now we are studying what they have already done, isn't it? But during the experiment, they come across many things. So other observations which were made were that it requires some particular frequency. They first conducted with a small frequency. They started conducting experiment. Sometimes they could not see this photoelectric effect. But for every metal, there is a particular frequency above which they can see this photoelectric effect. And that minimum frequency is called as threshold frequency. What is threshold frequency? The minimum frequency required for the metal for the ejection of electrons. Now we will study. See, don't get confused with what I'm explaining. Understand what is frequency, understand what is intensity, understand the effect, and then slowly sit and think of what it is, then slowly try to understand. Okay, I'm not trying to confuse you, however. So let me write the results. I'll write the results of this. First point, the electrons are ejected from the metal surface as soon as the beam of light strikes the metal. Strikes the metal. Yes, that means there is no time gap, no time gap between striking of light and ejection. Ejection means emission. Ejection means coming out of electrons. Ejection of electrons from the metal surface. Hope these 2 points are clear. And the next point which was told was that number of electrons ejected is proportional. I'm just writing a proportional symbol. You can just write a statement of it. Number of electrons ejected is proportional to intensity of light. Again, let me mention, intensity of light means, say in simpler words, brightness of light. The more intense beam you make to strike on the metal surface, more number of electrons gets ejected. If the intensity of light is less, then less number of electrons are ejected. Likewise, so number of electrons ejected is directly proportional to intensity of light used. Then the other point is what? Of threshold frequency. Each metal has a particular minimum frequency called as threshold frequency. Each metal has a characteristic minimum frequency. So we denote that as nu naught. Okay. Every metal, say for potassium there is a particular minimum frequency, for rubidium it might be different, like that. Each metal has a characteristic minimum frequency called as threshold frequency. Threshold frequency, important. Threshold frequency is denoted as nu naught. Don't get confused. Threshold frequency below which photoelectric effect is not observed. Is not observed. So for a metal, there will be a minimum frequency. Only above that, if you apply the frequency, you can see ejection of electrons. Otherwise, below that threshold frequency, you cannot see ejection of electrons taking place. That is threshold frequency. The definition of threshold frequency is important. Make a note of it. And next, observations. When frequency is greater than frequency, I'll denote it as nu. When frequency is greater than threshold frequency, electrons are emitted, that means ejected, with certain kinetic energy. You know what is kinetic energy now, isn't it? Energy with respect to motion. The moving particles possess some energy which is called as kinetic energy. So when do you observe that the electrons are emitted with certain kinetic energy? When the frequency is greater than the threshold frequency. You can see this. And this kinetic energy of electrons increases with increase in frequency. That means if you increase the frequency of light, you see that the kinetic energy of the electrons that is being emitted also increases. So we say when when frequency is greater than threshold frequency, the kinetic energy is observed in the particles emitted. That means certain kinetic energy is observed. Kinetic energy of electrons increases with increase in frequency. So these were the major observations made. And then you can just continue this as frequency of incident light. Hope these things are clear. It's simple. Know the definitions of the phenomenon, know the results of it. Some important points related to that, if you know, it's more than enough. Now this was about photoelectric effect, isn't it? Albert Einstein was the next one who saw this particular photoelectric effect, and he thought, why will not I use Planck's quantum theory and explain this photoelectric effect? We'll see how he has explained photoelectric effect. So I'll erase this. Next is Einstein's photoelectric effect, or the explanation of Einstein. Einstein explained photoelectric effect using which one? Using Planck's quantum theory. Planck's quantum theory. You know what he said? He said, if this is a metal surface, metal ions will be present, and along with them what will be present? Electrons will be present, isn't it? Cloud of electrons will be surrounding these. He did not call the beam of light as quantum, but he called them as photons. The particle of light, photo refers to light, so he called them as photons. Instead of calling them as quantum, he called them as photons. Photons are nothing but quanta. Einstein called quanta as photons. So what he said is, when shooting beam of particles, he said, okay, now you said that electrons are being emitted from the metal surface. How it emits, he said, when a shooting beam of light, means he called it as photons. When these photons strikes a metal surface, the electrons present in it absorbs energy and it gets emitted, he said. This electron absorbs energy from photons and gets emitted. This was told by Einstein. Albert Einstein said this. What he said? When shooting beam of particles, shooting beam of particles means photons,